September 11, 2001, New York City. A clear blue sky, millions going to work, children off to school. It felt like an ordinary Tuesday morning. But within minutes, the world changed forever. This is the story of September 11th. 9 a.m. on September 11th, 2001. The world goes about its business as usual. People hurry along the bustling New York City sidewalks, dodging tourists and yellow cabs. High above, the mighty Manhattan skyline glistens under the morning sun, especially the World Trade Center's twin towers, symbols of America's wealth and power. As the North Tower clock strikes 8:46 a.m., passengers board commuter planes bound for Boston and Washington, and all seems right with the world. Then, everything changes. On that ordinary-looking morning, 4 planes were hijacked by 19 members of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. And if you don't know what happened next, strap yourself in, because today we're reliving the most significant event of the 21st century so far. Here are the most terrifying minutes of 9/11. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, traveling from Boston to Los Angeles, smashes into the 96th to 99th floor of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Moments before the crash, a flight attendant opens the cockpit door and finds the pilots slumped over their controls, having apparently been subdued by the hijackers. Passengers suddenly find themselves plunging toward the ground. Screams fill the cabin as the plane crashes into the North Tower, sending tons of debris hurtling through the air. Thick black smoke pours from the gaping hole in the side of the tower. Flames lick hungrily at the steel frame. The impact knocks the shoes off people's feet, who run desperately away from the burning building. Others freeze in horror. A thick cloud of dust hangs over the area. People's clothes become coated in soot. The smell of jet fuel and burning hangs heavy in the air. Sirens blare. Police and firefighters rush toward the scene, their lights flashing. Emergency services scramble to respond. People make frantic phone calls. Others stand glued to their televisions, watching live coverage of the disaster unfold. On the 96th floor of the North Tower, office worker Brian Clark slowly comes to his senses. Having survived the initial impact, he stumbles out of the stairwell to find himself in an inferno. He can feel the heat scorching his skin. His eyes stream with smoke. He runs desperately for the exit, stumbling over broken glass and debris. Across the street, in a small publishing company, workers drop to the floor when the lights go out. Some try to make their way down the darkened stairs, but the heat is so intense they're forced to turn back. Others wait and pray that help will arrive. As smoke continues pouring from the North Tower, the second plane, United Airlines Flight 175, slams into the South Tower at 9:03 a.m., hitting between the 77th and 85th floors. It's almost as if the terrorists have time-traveled to the previous attack and learned from it, because the second plane hits the tower further back from the street, minimizing the number of fatalities on the ground. Both towers are now ablaze, casting long, ominous shadows over the city. It looks like something out of an action movie, except this is real life. And as the minutes tick by, it becomes clear that this is no movie. This is hell on earth. United Flight 175 also carries 65 passengers and crew. And like Flight 11, they had no idea what was coming. Flight attendant Amy Sweeney describes the scene in a chilling phone call to her husband on the ground. She says, "Oh my God, we've been hit. There are flames everywhere. I can't believe this is happening. We're on fire. Everyone's screaming. I don't know what to do. I don't know where the exits are." A man in the background shouts, "We're gonna crash." Sweeney replies, "I know. I think we already have." Seconds later, the transmission cuts out. By 9:15 a.m., United Flight 175 has plummeted to the ground, collapsing the entire South Tower. Tons of debris fall like rain over a wide area, narrowly missing St. Paul's Chapel, which miraculously remains unscathed. People on the ground feel the heat of the burning plane, even from this distance. Within moments, firefighters are engulfed in flames and die heroically, trying to save others. Office workers jump from windows in a desperate attempt to escape the fiery inferno. A thick, gray cloud of smoke envelops lower Manhattan. People flee in terror, choking on the smoke and falling victim to heart attacks in their terror. The dust eventually settles, revealing a scene of unimaginable devastation. A huge gaping hole is torn in the side of the remaining North Tower. People stand staring at the smoking ruin of the South Tower, utterly dumbfounded. Others break down and weep. The nightmarish sight is broadcast around the world on every news channel. For the first time in history, the entire planet watches an unfolding disaster live on television. By 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapses. As the dust settles, a sea of humanity stands silently watching, the only thing that remains of the South Tower. Twisted girders and smoking wreckage. People hold their breath, hoping against hope that the North Tower won't collapse too. But it does. At 10:28 a.m., the entire structure collapses in a cloud of dust and debris. Eyewitnesses say it's like a giant vacuum cleaner sucking all the air out of your lungs. People run for cover, tripping over one another. Those too far away watch helplessly as the iconic building turns to dust and crumbles to the ground. The mighty Manhattan skyline is irreparably damaged. A massive pile of debris covers an area half the size of Central Park. The ruins are so hot that emergency services can't enter the area immediately. People desperately search the site for their loved ones. Some have never been so happy to hear the sound of sirens and see flashing lights, but there's nothing emergency services can do but recover bodies. Almost 1,000 people are dead or dying in the area. Now let's talk about the horror that unfolded at the Pentagon. Less than 30 minutes after the North Tower fell, American Airlines Flight 77, one of the planes hijacked by Al-Qaeda terrorists, crashes into the west side of the Pentagon, just outside Washington, D.C. Like the two planes that hit the World Trade Center, Flight 77 is heading from east to west, and it hits the building at a shallow angle, tearing a 30 by 40-foot hole in the side of the massive structure. Witnesses say they saw a flash of light followed by a loud bang. Then they saw smoke rising from the Pentagon. Some thought it was a wayward rocket. Others assumed it must be fireworks. It wasn't until they saw the ensuing chaos that they realized what had really happened. When the plane hits the Pentagon, 125 people on the plane and 184 people inside the building perish. But there are no survivors among the passengers and crew of Flight 77. The military quickly establishes a secure perimeter around the damaged portion of the Pentagon. But rumors spread quickly that other terrorists are on the loose, and there could be more attacks on the way. Panic grips the nation's capital. Thousands of federal workers flee the city. Some fear there will be more attacks, others because they simply can't bear to stay in the city. Buses depart for Washington, D.C., carrying thousands of government employees who want to get as far away from the nation's capital as possible. Rumors spread that the White House and Capitol Hill are targets. Some people spend the night in their cars. Others seek shelter in churches and schools. Meanwhile, on a United Airlines Flight 93 traveling from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, California, passengers fight back against the terrorists who have taken control of the plane. They charge the cockpit and prevent the plane from being flown into a target in Washington, D.C., most likely the U.S. Capitol or the White House. The plane crashes in a field in Schnucksville, Pennsylvania, killing all 40 passengers and 9 crew members. The attacks left nearly 3,000 people dead. Now let's take a moment of silence to remember the victims. 3,000 people are dead. Thousands of families are torn apart. Americans across the country are united in their grief. People gather spontaneously at the foot of the Statue of Liberty, at the Lincoln Memorial, and outside the White House. President George W. Bush addresses the nation from the White House. He vows to hunt down those responsible for the attacks. Soon, the FBI releases images of the 19 suspected terrorists, all of whom are dead. The American public rallies together in the face of adversity. People donate blood, offer prayers, flags fly from every home, car, and storefront. The United States has been attacked, but it will not be defeated. Within months of the attacks, the U.S. invades Afghanistan, ousting the Taliban regime that had given Al-Qaeda safe haven. The global war on terror begins. Security laws change. Air travel is never the same. And 9/11 lives on in infamy. Today, the 9/11 Memorial in New York City occupies the former site of the World Trade Center. Water flows endlessly from the memorial, symbolizing the tears for the lives lost. Did you know someone who was affected by 9/11? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. September 11th wasn't just an attack on America. It was an attack on humanity. A day when the world stopped, hearts broke, and history changed forever.